Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? I'm really impressed with the Philadelphia Flyers right now. As they come back from break, they grab 3 of 4 points on a back-to-back situation. Now, I wasn't able to break down the full game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I did not have the opportunity to. I was a little disappointed they only came out with 1 point. They did play a good game. There was a moment where they fell apart and goals started to get tacked on. It was like a domino effect by the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was in the second period. Malkin scored to tie it 1-1. Then Russ scored on the power play. Letang scored on the power play, and it was just really bad. Travis Konechny, he got unlucky because the refs decided to make a brutal tripping call on him, but he got tripped beforehand, things of that nature. It didn't go really smooth in those moments for the Flyers, but when they were down 3-1, they battled back. Tyler Pitlick with a big goal. Scott Lawton ends up scoring from Pitlick and Kevin Hayes to tie it 3-3. In overtime, though, Sean Couturier ended up having a really costly turnover, and who but Sidney Crosby scored. So it was gut-wrenching because you wanted the Flyers to grab that second point. With where the season is now, with where the Flyers are in the standings, every point means so much. They are in a true battle. So they played a good game against the Penguins. They did. That third period, Jari was phenomenal. He was truly sensational. He stole the game. He really did. He stole that extra point from the Flyers. The Flyers outshot the Penguins 17-4 in the third period. So they were all over the place. They had so many great scoring chances. They weren't able to capitalize. And then, of course, Sidney Crosby ends up making it happen when it matters most. And did Brian Elliott allow a shaky goal there? Sure, I'm positive he lost sleep over that one. He wanted it back. But you can't be disappointed with their effort and how they played in Pittsburgh. I'm loving the fact that they responded the next night. Colorado is waiting for them in Philadelphia. The Avalanche were in Philadelphia while the Flyers were playing a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. This stretch coming up for the Flyers, it's so much travel, so many games. But listen, you can't complain about it. You got to go out there and perform. You got to go out there and compete, and you got to go out there and grab points and victories. So for them to come home the night after going to overtime against their rival, to beat the Avalanche 6-3, I'm just so impressed with their effort. Alex Lyon in between the pipes. Are you serious? I mean, he was great. He was so solid. He was making so many great saves. To think you're on the second of a back-to-back, you have a powerful team in the Avalanche coming to town. You're having Alex Lyon play in the crease. There are so many things that can go wrong right from the jump. Now, to be fair, it wasn't as if the Flyers came out and executed early. It was all Colorado early, but somehow the Flyers came up on top when it comes to the score sheet. Oh, by the way, that's the most important thing, right? So they came out on top of the score sheet in that first period. Matt Niskanen throws a puck on net, which ends up finding the twine and beating traffic. Sean Couturier and Jake Voracek got the assists on that. Kevin Hayes then, when there were about 6 seconds left in the first period, he's on the side of the net with a beautiful redirect. It goes past the netminder, and the Flyers are up 2-0. Travis Konechny and JVR get the assist there. So the Avalanche really did come out with pace, and I didn't know if they would based off the fact that they're coming off a break. They haven't played in a bunch of time, while the Flyers did have a game under their belt, the back-to-back on the road against a really tough opponent, so they should be tired out. But I didn't know if the Avs would be coming full speed just based off the fact that they were resting, and it takes a little bit of time to get the rust off their skates. Apparently not when it comes to Nathan Mackinnon and those guys, because they were buzzing around. Now, as a whole, Nathan Mackinnon was held off the score sheet, was -3, but still, what he did with his speed early on in the game, he was very noticeable out there, definitely. He's a playmaker, he's fast, and he makes it happen. He really does. Once again, not specifically in this game, but overall, the kid is a special talent. Let's real quickly throw in my sponsor before we get heavily involved into the second and third period and where the Flyers are right now. Are you looking to go to a hockey game, an NBA game, a college game, or even a concert? If you use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page, you will receive $20 off your total purchase. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code BROADS today. So, second period, Flyers up 2-0. But they allow a goal. A couple minutes into the period, it's 2-1. But 1 minute later, the Flyers fight back. Sean Couturier with a beautiful dish to Joel Farabee going hard backdoor, and he scores. Ever since I called him out during that slump saying, looks like Joel Farabee hit a wall, he's knocking on the score sheet every night. He's producing. He's a pest. He's annoying. He's involved. He's doing all sorts of things. He's scoring goals. He's getting assists. So he must be watching. I'm telling you, he must be watching because he flipped the switch instantly as soon as I called him out. He went through a tough stretch without producing at all. I believe it was 16 games or 15 games without scoring a goal. From that moment, bang, he really has been starting to deliver. But when you're playing with Sean Couturier and when he's feeding you these great assists, it's definitely easier, no doubt. I'm not taking away from Joel Farabee. I'm pretty much praising Sean Couturier, saying whoever plays with this guy finds ways to get on the score sheet and score goals and whatnot. It's unreal what he's doing. So 3-1. But 1 minute later, Rantanen scores on the power play, and Rantanen's had a weird season. I think he would say he's underperforming. You probably expected at times to be on a higher streak when it comes to getting points and whatnot, but he found a way to score on the power play. The Flyers lead 3-2 after the second period. Third period rolls around. Sean Couturier and Joel Farabee do it again. This pass by Sean Couturier was even sweeter than the first one. They're in the offensive zone. He picks off the pass in the high slot area, and he just curls the stick around, and he just somewhat leaves it for Farabee, who comes in and has a wide open net. It was insane. It really was. For him to even have the mindset to make that play in that spot, it's crazy. You got the puck right there in the slot. You would think, boom, let me shoot it. Boom, I'm in the slot. Boom, I have a grade A scoring chance. Nah, let me just wait for Joel Farabee and leave the puck there for him so he can have a wide open twine to throw it into. Yeah, that's impressive. For him to even have the eyes, right? He had like eyes in the back of his head. Oh yeah, Joel Farabee will be here. Boom. 4-2 lead for the Fly Guys. But of course, a minute and 30 seconds later, they allow another goal. It seemed like every time the Flyers made their push, the Avalanche would come back and find a way to get involved again. And listen, the Avalanche are really good. They are a top team in this league. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a game where you just pump them and it's all over and they're going to go out and die and they're going to go out and just say, forget it, I give up, I quit. They'll never do that. There's a reason why they're at the top of the league. But that's what makes this even sweeter and even better. The Flyers continue to score when they needed to. They continue to make the most of their opportunities. You have a shorthanded chance when the score is 4-3 and the Avalanche just scored a goal to make it a 1-point game. Don't mind if I do. Who's your daddy? What's he do? Kevin Hayes on a 2-on-1 delivers and puts it past Grubauer. Like, make the most of your chances. And Kevin Hayes has been playing great hockey. The celebration was great. He gets the celebration. He's looking at the fans. He's got both of his hands up in the slow-mo. There was a GIF that the Flyers tweeted out, and it was awesome. Definitely awesome. Scott Lawton ends up throwing in an empty netter when the Avalanche had some pressure and whatnot throughout that third period, definitely for sure, but he sent it down the full ice and put it in the empty net to solidify the win. When you look at this team and look at what they've done against the top teams in this league, they're beating them. They're beating them. It's crazy. Not that I count them out at times, but, they lose a point on the road and things like that can hurt a team. It can hurt a squad emotionally knowing they left one on the table, but they answered the bell. They continue to fight. It's like they put it past them, say, okay, maybe they look at the positive side. Maybe they're a glass half full type of team in locker room. We snag the point. Let's make it 2 points the next night so we can take 3 of 4 and move on. If you continue to grab 3 of 4 consistently, you're going to be in a good position. Really, you are. So maybe they're a glass half full type of team. And they don't look at it as, we left one on the table. It's, all right, listen, we grabbed one. Sure, we could have had 2. We grabbed one. Let's make it 2 tomorrow, and we'll find a way to make it happen. Whatever they're doing, it's working, though. Jake Voracek +3, Sean Couturier +3, Joe Farabee +3, Matt Niskanen +4, Ivan Provorov +3, and 27 minutes logged in on the score sheet. Are you kidding me? This guy's logging in this amount of time, and he's playing against top talent on the other team. McKinnon, 0 points, -3. Landeskog, -3. Sensational performance by Ivan Provorov. Nothing crazy when it comes to offense and creating all these opportunities offensively, but when you have that type of talent on the other team, your job is to keep them off the score sheet. Your job is to make sure you do whatever you can to stop their powerhouse team. And that line did that. Now, the Flyers had some power plays, and I didn't think they made the most of those power plays. Their power play struggles. It's annoying to watch at times. It's frustrating to watch at times. Even though they scored once on that Kevin Hayes one with 6 seconds left, a beautiful little redirect, it's still not good enough, and it needs to be better. I think that is one thing that's holding this team back. Because there are times where you can pump on a team. You're up 2-1. You have a power play chance. It could be 3-1. That can totally change the outcome of the game. Or hell, it's 3-1 Flyers. And boom, you can make it 4-1. Or they're down 3-1. And they get a power play chance to make it 3-2. They don't cash in. Things like that. It can change the momentum in a game. And they're not doing that enough. Or they're not doing that consistently. And that can be something that will hold this team back as it gets down to the important stretch. This was a play. It wasn't even on the power play, actually. It was midway through the second period. About 10 minutes to go. JVR with this unbelievable wide open net. All he had to do was tap it in. And to be fair, the broadcast was talking about how he should have went to his backhand because he would have a wide open net with Grubauer laying in the blue paint like that. But he was pretty much in the crease area. The puck came right on his forehand. It wouldn't make sense in that moment to drag it to your backhand to take more time to try and deliver. It's on your forehand. You're right there. There's a wide open net. You shoot. You just got to lift it over your pad. But to be honest with you, I don't even know if I blame JVR in that spot. Like, it's easy to say, dude, put it in. But Grubauer just made a ridiculous save there with the puck landing on your stick that close to the net. To move it to your back, it just doesn't make sense. That's more time for the goalie to get over. That's more time for a defenseman to get on your stick. In that situation, I think just shooting it and pulling the trigger is the right move. Grubauer just got a leg on it. Sometimes you got to tip your cap, but that's a spot where I'm talking that could change the momentum. Now, ultimately, they still won the hockey game 6-3, so they did enough. Absolutely, more than enough. And I feel like I'm just stepping over what Alex Lyon did. I mean, for him to come in with that type of moment, knowing that Carter Hart's the future, knowing that Brian Elliott is playing well, you get a chance to get caught up and you got to play a big-time game at home against the Avalanche. He produced, he performed, and he had a chance earlier in the season where it didn't go as smooth as he probably wanted it to. So, good for him. Absolutely, good for him. Now, as I look to my right here, I got a whole new setup going in my office, in my recording studio. I got a nice, I would say big screen, but it's not a big screen. But I got a nice flat screen to my right here, and I have the NHL Game Center going on. So as I'm watching this, I'm watching the Battle of Alberta going on right now between Edmonton and Calgary, and I think that's one of the best rivalries in the NHL right now. Flyers, Penguins, sure, it's fun. We're tied to it emotionally. But what's going on in this series, it's crazy, and I'm seeing it flashing in the corner of my eye, and I can see it through the window right there. So I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? I need to see what's going on. One of my good friends just called up. I got to give him a shout-out, Buddy Robinson. He was up with the Ottawa Senators for some time. Then he went back to the minors. It's been about 4 years since he's been recalled up to the NHL. He gets recalled up to the NHL with the Calgary Flames at the age of 28. He had 2 impressive games, and tonight, in this game, he scores a doozy for his first NHL goal in about 4 years. I was crying. I had the chills. I had the goosebumps. It was insane. So that's why I have this game on right now, and oh man, as they light the lamp again. Is that Connor McDavid? No, it wasn't McDavid, but he's tearing it up tonight. All right, we're getting sidetracked too much. What I need to say is there's something to be said about the way this team is playing. My biggest fear, and it's looking ahead a bit because there's so much hockey left, is they're going to be a team that goes equivalent to 10-6 in an NFL season, but they don't make the playoffs. Just because the Metropolitan's so tough, and there might be teams that have a worse record, but they end up making the Atlantic, things like that. I feel like they're going to have a very successful season, but I need them to make the playoffs. And it's not like they're bad at not making the playoffs. It's just that tough right now because so many teams are really solid in the East and in the Metropolitan. It's a really hard spot to be in. So there's plenty of time. My point is there's plenty of time to do it. It's just one of my biggest fears is they have a great season, knowing how mediocre the Flyers have been throughout so long now. No one wants to hear that. The fans, not just the fans, but the city of Philadelphia, oh, the Flyers didn't make the playoffs again. Like, the point is there's so much going on right now with this team. This is a different style of hockey. This is a different version of Flyers hockey. You got to be appreciative and understand that they are a different team with a different mindset, finally going with youth, finally going with speed. They are turning the page into what 2020 hockey is all about. You can see that. And that's why I want them to make the playoffs so bad, because then this city and the city of Philadelphia, the sports fans, will realize this is a different version. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't know if people will realize that, because fans don't dive into 82 games of Flyers hockey like we do as Flyers fans. And I think they deserve respect in this city. Not that they're getting disrespected. There's a lot to be said about them not making the playoffs every year, and there's something to be said about not getting out of the first round. When that happens for so long, that's the nature of the beast, and that goes on the organization. But anyway, tying it back to where they are now and these two games, they grabbed 3 of 4 in a back-to-back against the Penguins and the Avalanche. You got to tip your cap. That's a really strong 2-game stretch. Now, they go to Detroit to play on Monday. As I stated, lots of travel, lots of teams, lots of games going on throughout this stretch. So be prepared for a lot of Flyers hockey. It's not a bad thing from a fan's perspective, but for a player's perspective, it might be a toll on the body. You got to be proud of what they're doing right now. And hopefully Carter Hart comes back soon. Hopefully you have Shane Gostisbehere in the mix, and who knows how he's going to make it back. He had the surgery, and he's going to have to find his way back into the lineup with this core that sometimes struggles with some of the young guns, but sometimes they play super strong as well. So it just depends on the game. Like, sometimes that Meyer-Sanheim line gets a little iffy and shaky, and I get nervous in the D zone, but sometimes they make strong plays and they score offensively. And I know that's Shane Gostisbehere's game as well, so we think his offense and whatnot. So, we'll see. We'll see how it all fits in the mix. I trust Alain Vigneault because I think he's done a really solid job, and I'm really proud of what he has done with the environment with this team, with the locker room, and how he's brought everything together. And Kevin Hayes, speaking of the locker room, this guy's just a beauty. He's just hilarious. He's a great locker room guy. He's mic'd up all the time. He's chirping himself. He's just a standard, classic, good guy in the locker room, and I think this locker room as a whole is one. They're a bond, they're a unit, and you can see it and translate on the ice for sure, without a doubt. So let me know your thoughts on this stretch with the Fly guys, this 2-game back-to-back situation. I'm very proud of them. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I will see you next time.